Yo, what's going on, guys? Watomarmelon here, and today I'm going to be bringing you kind of a new idea that I had. I mean, this isn't, a novel idea. This is something people do with stocks all the time, but this is making an index of modern Yu-Gi-Oh cards so that we can track how the modern Yu-Gi-Oh card market is performing over time. And so I'm going to try to update this every 2 weeks. I've selected 10 Starlight Rares that I think are indicative of the Starlight Rare market. Obviously, it's not going to account for everything. I'm trying to make them as collectible as possible, and most of them are not playable cards, meaning that if the meta shifts, it's not going to drastically affect how individual cards are performing, and then therefore bias the entirety of the situation. Additionally, there are 10 collector rares, and these ones are also selected in a similar way, trying to make them as collectible as possible. And at the bottom of each of these card rarities, we have an aggregate. This is kind of a weighted average, where I've chosen the weights for the individual cards to try and prioritize something like IP Masquerena more than something like Trishula, because I think that IP Masquerena is a more important card to the Starlight Rare market. And so I do the same thing within an individual category for all the collector rares, and I tried to make it so that these were as diverse as possible, so that I only have 2 cards from Toon Chaos, for example. I could have added a bunch more. There are 15 collector rares, but I didn't want to make it so that all the cards were out of the same set as much as I could. And then we have Secret Pharaoh's rares, 3 from Mama and 2 from Kaiko. Those are the only sets, I believe, that have had Secret Pharaoh's rares, so I didn't have much of a choice. And then Ghost rares, most of these are out of Ghost from the Past 2 and Ghost from the Past 1. And then I'm doing all the legendary duelist Ghost rares that have released recently. I know that there's LED 10 coming out, but I didn't want to do anything that was released too recently. For example, I didn't do quarter century secret rares because I'm afraid that I would just be recording the fact that cards go down right after they're released on average, and that's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get at sort of the overall collectability and the changes in demands and supply for these individual cards long after they're released. And by long, I mean, 6 months to, however many years. So let's go through the list, and I'll show you what I've picked. If you think I've missed anything, please let me know. So for Starlight Rares, I've got IP Masquerena. I think this is, a shoe-in for sure. And one other thing is I recorded the market price on the 25th of July, so I wanted to make sure, proof of concept that this does work. And then I did all of them on the 1st of August again. And so I'm probably going to do a video released either on the 1st or the 2nd of August, and then another video released 2 weeks later. So it's going to be kind of like the 15th and the 1st of each month. I'm going to have an update on the overall market. And these videos are pretty easy, so I'll just go through it, and I'll go through the cards right now, but in future videos I won't go through every individual card, only ones that have changed significantly. Anyways, it's only been a week, so the percentage is only changed by 1% in each of the categories or so, and then at the end I aggregate all the individual categories. So for example, this total is a weighted average of the individual Starlight Rares, individual Collector Rares, individual Secret Pharaoh Rares, and then I do another weighted average to get to this overall index value, where I weight Starlight Rares more than I weight Secret Pharaoh's Rares. Because I think that Starlight Rares are more important to the modern market than Secret Pharaoh's Rares. So I do that. IP Masquerena, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. This is one of the more playable cards that's more susceptible to huge fluctuations due to its playability. That one's out of Brothers of Legend. We've got Apollosa, probably the most important Starlight Rare. One of the Starlight Rares from Rising Rampage, which was the first set with Starlight Rares. We've got Stardust Dragon. I chose not to do the Collector Rare, only the Starlight Rare, because I don't want to double dip on cards as much as I can. I think I double dip on Dark Magician Girl, but I think it's important to double dip on a card like that. Then we do Black Rose Dragon. See, that's pretty similar to Stardust Dragon, so I think that it's important to have both of those two. And then we've got Exodia, the Forbidden One, out of Battles of Legend, Crystal Revenge, Dark Magicians out of Battle of Chaos. Very cool card with all Dark Magician and then Dark Magician Girl. Trishula. This is one I wasn't sure whether I'd put or not, but I think it's a good one out of Blazing Vortex. I do like the Starlight Rares that are kind of the reprint Starlight Rares. If you guys know that they often do sort of a reprint Starlight Rare for an individual set, like for example Stardust Dragon or Trishula. Then we've got Yada Garasu out of Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge. And then we've got something out of Rise of the Duelist. We've got Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons, Starlight Rare. So those are all the Starlight Rares that I ended up aggregating. And so the initial value of the index on July 25th was about $198, and then it's decreased by a little over 1% to $195.70. So small decrease. These sorts of decreases of 1% are not really significant, but you'll notice that each individual category is decreasing by 1%. So it seems like there is an overall market trend of a slight decrease, but a percent is nothing in the grand scheme of things. Next up for collector rares, we've got Toon Blackluster Soldier. One important thing is that I'm only doing the first edition near mint prices of these cards, and I'm using the market price that you find. Well, for this one, I use the market price you see right here, where it's $208.42. For most cards that are modern, they don't have unlimited printings, so the market price is just the near mint first edition price. But for a card out of Toon Chaos, that's not necessarily the case. Anyways, I'm only doing near mint first edition. I don't want to conflate anything. And so we've got Toon Blackluster Soldier, probably the most important collector rare to the collector rare market, in the same way that Apollosa is the most important Starlight Rare to the Starlight Rare market. Toon Blackluster Soldier, in my opinion, is it's from the first release of collector rares in Toon Chaos, and I think it's, it perfectly encapsulates Toon Chaos. It's Toon and Chaos. I guess it's not Chaos, but anyways, it's a Toon card, and it's the most expensive and most desirable card, and it's a cover artwork for the set. Then we've got Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, collector rare, again, first edition near mint out of Toon Chaos. Wake Up Your Elemental Hero out of Maze of Memories. Wild Survivors, we've got Hungry Burger. And then Rescue Rabbit out of King's Court. Very cool card. And for some of these, the market price is higher than the first edition listed price. For example, the market price is $33.68, but a near mint first edition, actually you can find it for around $30. And that's largely because the market price is a little bit delayed. It's kind of this running average, and so it's not going to necessarily predict the exact price at that given time. It's going to be delayed a little bit, where it's going to have to wait for more sales at this lower price point of $30 before it's going to drop. So that's important to note as well. And then Gate Guardian. This one's just been on a kind of a free fall. We got near mint first edition for $23.72. You can see that's again a bit lower than the market price. Card Trooper. This one, I guess, has a bit of Edison playability, but I think it's fine in the grand scheme of things. Scapegoat out of Tactical Masters. Wow, that's cheap. $13. That's way below the market price. That is cheap. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize how cheap Scapegoat has gotten. Well, that one's going to drop. Venomenaga, one of the most beautiful collector rares. See, it has 1814. You can get it for $16.50. Alright, so that's all the collector rares. Let me know if I missed anything. And then for Secret Pharaohs rares, again, there's not a whole lot to choose from. I did Dark Magician Girl because I think that's the most important of the Secret Pharaohs rares. And then I did the two of the God cards. I did Slifer, and then I also did Winged Dragon of Ra. Now, I did double dip with Winged Dragon of Ra, but I thought it was interesting to have it for the Secret Pharaohs rares, because what I wonder is if they're going to print the other God cards in Ghost Rare. And I imagine the other God cards in Ghost Rare would be a different type of release than a legendary duelist. And so we're yet to see how that would be done, but it might affect the Winged Dragon of Ra in a different way than it would affect the other two God cards. We'll have to see. Because in Japan, which we're kind of switching to more of the OCG system, they like to release, different parts of a set in different ways, where one will be a promo out of a Blu-ray DVD, the other will be, something you have to pull from a pack, and then the other one will be a raffle. And so one of them ends up being way harder to get than the one that ends up in the raffle. And we've got Elemental Hero Neos showing GX some love. That's also the highest rarity of that card, so it's important to have. Seal of Orichalcos, I think one of the stylistically best choices for the Secret Pharaoh's rare, besides the God cards, of course. Now moving on to Ghost Rares, we've got the original Dark Magician out of Ghost from the Past 1, Dark Magician Girl out of Ghost from the Past 2, so again, double dipping on Dark Magician Girl, Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, that's an important one, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend out of Ghost from the Past 2, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Again, this is kind of the highest rarity. I get that there's a secret rare out of, I think, Jump, but now we've got some legendary duelist stuff. Rage of Ra, Winged Dragon of Ra Ghost Rare, Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon, number 101 Silent Honor Arc out of LED 9. This one, yeah, you can get it for under $16, even though the market price is $18. So I think the market's come down even more recently, but that will be reflected in the next market watch that I do. And then Red Eyes Black Dragon out of Ghost from the Past 2. So overall, the market has gone down by 1.1% since a week prior. Individually, Starlit Rares are down 1.14% or 1.15 if you round. Collector Rares down 0.93%, Secret Pharaoh's Rares down 0.59%, and Ghost Rares down 1.6%. So overall, everything's down, and it's down by pretty similar values, but we'll update this again in 2 weeks, and these videos will, this one, because I'm showing off all the cards in the index, is going to be a bit longer, but future ones will be a bit shorter. So let me know what you guys think. It's been your boy Watomarmelon. Use that eBay link in the description below at no cost to, it's an affiliate referral link, so I appreciate if you click it. It's been your boy Watomarmelon, and peace out.